Hello. How you do?
I do.
You do? I do.
I do.
Apologies for any sneezing or sniffling that happens during this episode.
Sneezes or snifflings.
You know. Sometimes you come back from a film festival and you're not 100%.
My voice is I could tell my voice was going down like halfway through just by virtue of like every after party was just blaring music, and I felt like I was just like yelling for like 8 days straight, basically.
Yeah. I had so much fun at the Forbidden Fruits after party, but I
So
got very nervous that I made a big mistake by staying too long and yelling too much because I had the rooster panel the next day.
the very next bit.
And I went to bed in like a panic that I was going to wake up with no voice. Thankfully, I was fine.
I think the next day after that was the most. I was like, I could like it not pain, but just like from yelling the whole time.
Yeah.
Like the gravel in your voice and like trying to figure that out.
You yell at parties for hours on end late into the night. We're not properly like fed like food with adequate nutrients. We're not getting enough sleep. It's bound to add up.
I'm currently posting on Blue Sky our
good stuff
stream, so because I forgot to do that. So
yeah, so
I'm looking down.
While you do that, I'll let everybody know our plan. You could actually see the rundown of the show in the description section of this video. We're literally just going to get through as many South by Southwest 2026 reviews as humanly possible, starting with a Ready or Not 2 non-spoiler review, and then hopefully ending with a Ready or Not 2 spoiler review, which we will give you a very, very clear warning about. But before we get to any of those reviews, it's going to happen every time.
What is it, Perri?
It's Whopper, and then other words.
You still have to learn them. You're going to be tortured until you finally do it.
You have my word. What was the last thing that I mean? I feel like you torture me with like fucking Stu lives. There's something else.
He's not dead.
There's something else that he is. There was something else. I don't remember what the last thing was. I'm sure it'll come to me eventually, but I will learn the song. What did you eat at South by Southwest? I am happy to talk about all the wonderful food I ate. Per Matt's recommendation, the first night.
Bangers,
so
baby.
I love all barbecue. Sausage is typically like my go-to, and there's a place called Bangers in Austin that specializes in sausage. And oh my, it was the first night meal I had, and it was incredible. It was so good. I got the sausage sampler that they offered. So it had, 3 different kinds, one of which was like a jalapeno sausage.
Yeah.
And like, I survived the hot ones challenge, but like regularly I don't enjoy spice and I don't tolerate it especially well. That meat was so good that I literally cried the entire time I ate it until I finished. I
love it.
Real good. So I did that. I did middle of the night tacos out of a little truck somewhere that were incredible. And then I topped it all off with Terry Blacks.
Of course, Terry Blacksed it. Of course. I actually didn't get my bangers because there was an after party at Bangers and I thought they'd have sausages and they did not. And I was kind of bummed.
That was the weirdest thing. I was very surprised about that.
Yeah.
Like, why do you have a party there if not for the sausage?
Yeah. No, I did all the staples that I wanted to, minus my Casino El Camino burger. I did not get one of those and I was very bummed. But Kamari Tatsuya, Japanese American fusion, is so good. So I was very happy with that. I love Austin food. Meats. All the meats.
Terry Blacks.
That was the first night I got barbecue. Like I just started the trip off and then stayed out until 3 a.m. for reasons that
dude. I'm glad I didn't go out that night.
That was great. What do you mean? It was a great time.
Most nights I was in bed at a very reasonable hour, but like up at the crack of dawn. I was up before the sun rose the next morning. Almost every single day I was there.
I don't think I went to bed before 3 a.m. any night by virtue of work and staying out. And then I would wake up at around like 9.
Sounds pretty on brand for you and on brand for me. Bless you.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be the first one to sneeze this episode. I guess not. All right, let's get into it. The first review of our episode is, I'm keeping track. We're starting this review at 5:02. 5:02 is when we're going to do our Ready or Not to Here I Come non-spoiler review. So at this point in the show, you are very safe. And at the very end of this stream, we will do spoilers and give you a clear warning. I posted a mini review on the channel already. So do you want to take this one first, Matt?
Yeah, I liked it. It's fun. Yay. I keep prefacing my thoughts on Ready or Not 2 by saying I think Ready or Not's a perfect movie. I gave it 5 stars. So like I am coming into this franchise or series, let's say, like I'm a mark for it. I think the first one is tremendous, and I was a little worried about how the second one would kind of just like pick up and go with it, how it would keep telling the same kind of story, the same themes, but expand upon it for a sequel. And in non-spoiler territory, I will say that it very much, every kind of like issue I thought it could run into, it does not. I do think it doesn't reach the highs of the first one. I think it is a more of the sameness, but not in a derogatory way, because I love what the first is doing. It just kind of feels like, okay, we're doing it again. Good. All the love in the world for it. The one ding that I felt was the introduction of Catherine Newton's character felt very familiar in it being an obstacle at first, and then obviously they would grow to, rekindle everything. And it works tremendously because it's Catherine Newton Samara Weaving. So like they get through the, I think, more generic reunion to the better stuff later. But I do think it takes a minute to get that arc going and kind of like, I guess, take it out of the expected realms. But no, it's gory, it's fun, it's everything that I want it to be, and it does expand the lore in a way that I was very excited for.
Yeah, I'll echo a lot of what you said. And, I just have a different take on the introduction of Faith in the movie. I actually thought it started off really strong. And, you did say this, that it is largely because of the two of them in those roles. But in particular, I was really curious to see how they were going to handle Grace explaining to Faith what just happened to her. And I think that while, maybe we've seen stories before where estranged family members reunite and are starting to butt heads only to become closer as the story progresses, I think that paired with the uniqueness of what Grace has to explain to Faith and how well that works really got that going quite quickly for me. I feel like there was something else you said that I really wanted to echo. Oh no, I thought of a funny.
A funny.
So
I made it funny.
The way that I would describe this movie is, how I was talking about the Bangers sampler plate?
Yeah.
It's like if Ready or Not 1 was one of the sausages, Ready or Not 2 would be a different flavor of sausage.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that in my sequels. I would describe The Black Phone and The Black Phone 2 that way also. It is a sequel that I think is just as good as the original, but that I like for slightly different reasons.
So I don't see that as much in Ready or I agree with The Black Phone. I think that's a perfect way to phrase it. I don't agree as much with the Ready or Nots though, because I do think they are largely the same flavor. Just with, again, we'll do spoiler later, so I'll get into other stuff later.
Yeah. I mean, this is not a spoiler, but part of the reason why I would say this has a different flavor, different sausage flavor, is because of the first one being about, Grace trying to find family and love, and then the introduction of Faith and the fact that she really did have a sister. I think that immediately gives it a different flavor. And I also think the expansion of the mythology, and particularly going from focusing on the Lodomus family to a multitude of families, I think that also instantly reflavors the entire experience. So I will say they felt very different to me. Is there anything else you want to add in the non-spoiler section?
No, I liked it.
In that case, how much did you like it? What are you going to score it?
I came out the gate with a 4 out of 5, and I think that's still where I sit on it. Because again, I enjoy the first so much. Me saying it's more of the same is a tremendous compliment. Like,
I gotcha. I'm going to go higher. I'm going to say a 4.5 out of 5. I've seen this movie too many times at this point because I was lucky enough to, screen it for the junket. I screened it at South by Southwest. And, with movies like this that are so lore, mythology, and bylaw heavy. Oh my God. Wait, I got one too for you.
Just laid out.
Look at this. It's like two opposite forms of sleeping. I'm not going to disturb Malcolm. If I do that, he won't be happy with me. 4.5 out of 5 for me. Oh, I was talking about the value of repeat watches. I always get a little nervous when movies are rule heavy. And listen, Elijah Wood's character walks around with a giant tome of bylaws the entire time. So this one is
so good.
Whenever I watch a movie like that for the second time, I'm always especially eager to see, if all the dots connect, if there are any plot holes. And on my repeat watches, I could not get over how tight this script was, and I was very, very impressed by it. And yeah, this one has a very good chance of going all the way for me this year. So I am going to keep that idea in my back pocket for now.
Hell yeah.
All right, so that is our non-spoiler review of Ready or Not 2. At 11:02, I'm tossing it to Matt for a family movie review.
Like for those who it's a South by movie, so probably a lot of people don't know what family movie is yet, but the Bacons made a movie. There's no other way to say it other than Kevin Bacon, Kira Sedgwick. The daughter's name.
Sosie Bacon.
Sosie. I always want to say it differently, so I just want to make sure. Sosie Bacon and Travis Bacon. They star in what I will call a very self-referential and meta-heavy slasher film about Kevin Bacon playing this low budget filmmaker who's on his last go around. He wants to make his last movie with his family, and real deaths start happening. And I don't want to say much more else on the why they happen, but what you get is very much the way I described it is it's Kevin Bacon and his whole family making their one cut of the dead. It just is a very passionate movie about the art of low budget and even micro budget filmmaking made by people who just love movies. This movie is very much the product of the satire it's trying to make. So it itself is a hacky micro budget, very, very sloppy movie. So it feels a little redundant parts of it. It kind of feels like surface value at times, but what gets through is just how much fun everyone is having. Jackie Earle Haley shows up, a bunch of other cameos who I won't say. John Carroll Lynch is a character, it's not really a cameo, but it's not the movie I expected the Bacons to make. It feels very there's this movie Dead and Breakfast that I love, and it is a just slapstick, goofy, zombie, low budget thriller comedy, all these things. It's throwing things at the wall, and it's you watch it and you're going how does this movie exist? And I feel like it's family movie because there's choreographed dance numbers while they're putting a body in a wood chipper and stuff like that. So I very much am happy it exists. I don't think it's amazing. I think it's a 3 out of 5 for me because it's pure entertainment value, and some of the actual scares themselves, we'll say, don't really fulfill, and they are hampered by a small budget. But I don't know. I just really had maybe it's because I sat literally aisle next to Kira and Kevin as they were watching the movie, and they were just giddy and giggling the whole time with little kids, and you get that coming through the screen. It's not just you don't have to have that be sitting with the Bacons to understand why it's good, but that was the reassurance of they were so happy with what they did, and that's what pulls through on the screen. So nice. I hope it finds a nice little cult following someday. I'll be surprised who puts it out. It's not going to be a big theatrical, but I don't know. I think it's going to find a little happy audience.
I'm eager to see that one. That is the only interview I had to conduct at South by Southwest without getting to see the movie in advance, which I don't love doing, but I understand sometimes there's no ways around it. But they did a very good job of making me even more hyped for a movie that I was already excited about. And it just seems like it'll work for me because it ticks all of the boxes that really scratch particular itches for me, just in terms of loving independent filmmaking, loving horror, loving the idea of filmmaking families, whether you're related by blood or have just accumulated this found filmmaking family over the course of your career. So I think all those things colliding might really work for me. Yeah. So I hope
Kira Sedgwick specifically so good in this, really having a fucking ball.
Oh, I love hearing that. All right, we're at 14:45 right now, and we're going to move on to Pretty Lethal. Did you see that one?
I did indeed.
Amazing, amazing. So I will read the South by Southwest official synopsis to catch everybody up. An action-packed thriller where 5 ballerinas stranded in a remote forest take shelter at an unsettling roadside inn. They must weaponize years of brutal training, turning grace, discipline, and even their ballet shoes into tools for survival. I like this movie quite a bit. I liked it quite a bit. I found the idea of combining ballet with the fight choreography really effective and fun to watch and refreshing. I also really liked the 5 of them and how every single one of them had such a wildly different personality, and that personality fed into how they would go on to try to survive in this situation, and also their fight tactics too. I thought that added a really nice layer to the stunt work here, and I thought it was really well directed. Vicky Juson's the director on this, and it really just was an all around super entertaining blast that I found to be a very, very exciting and satisfying watch.
I enjoyed it too. I'm positive on this one. I think it's a great like I'm not knocking the idea of streaming movies or by any means, but like it's a great streamer. Like that's the thing. Like it goes harder than I expected an Amazon Prime take on this to be. It's bloody, it's gory, and I really was impressed with the ballerina foo, as they call it, because it's never like a gimmick. Like the way they work in every like ballet move into the actual like fight choreography, it's beautifully done. Like we're talking like John Wick. You know, it's an easy comparison, but like it is Wickian in the way that it uses like the choreography and like, you know, where they're doing gun foo, this is ballerina foo in a cool way. I also really like the fact that we have a ballerina movie from Stileski, like stunt wise, obviously not directing wise, but like Stileski and his company did Ballerina.
Yep.
And then since he broke off with David Leitch and his company took care of Pretty Lethal. And you know what? I think Pretty Lethal is better.
I prefer Pretty Lethal. I kind of liked Ballerina, but I do much prefer this one.
And also, like, even beyond the main cast, like the main cast is great. I think they are having a blast with it. Uma Thurman. I like her as like
enjoyed her quite a bit.
Big Hungarian bad who is like the owner of the hotel, but also has criminal undertones, and like she's also an ex-ballerina person who lost her leg because of a gambling debt and all this stuff. And like, there's so much in there that I like. It feels like it should be goofier than it is, but again, she's bringing so much presence to that role that I love the world building. I love all the parts of it. It just feels bigger than I expected. And again, it's not a knock on streaming, but I think it just, I wasn't expecting what I felt after watching Pretty Lethal.
No, I'll second that. And now I feel a sneeze coming on. To zero in on the cast, I was also just really excited to see Maddie Ziegler headline a movie and in a role that felt so perfectly suited to her. Like her character in particular stands out because of her, like, you know, I guess her like feral nature, this ferocity that the other girls don't quite have. And the pairing between that attitude and also what a skilled real life dancer she is worked so well together. Like her character is named Bones, and like I love the group dynamic. I don't want this comment to take away from how much I enjoyed that, but I would also watch her just like barrel through a million bad guys solo because she was really great in that role. I also really liked Avantika, who I liked a lot. Great. I liked her a lot in Mean Girls, but there's something about I guess how she uses similar qualities, but in a slightly different way. And I really appreciated how real she still manages to make her character feel here, because I feel like those particular qualities could come across as, you know, maybe a little too cartoonish. And I think she does such a good job of making her feel like a human being, but also having fun with the ridiculousness of certain things that are happening to her.
To confirm, this is Prime Video. This is going to be on streaming on Prime, I believe, early April.
I do think you're right. I can look it up
I
real
believe
quick.
early April. It's not a long wait. It's coming out soon.
Pretty lethal. Oh no, it's this month. Pretty
Oh, it's this
lethal
month.
is coming out in 5 days, March
Cool.
25th.
It'll be streaming in 5 days. There you
Yeah.
go.
And I certainly would recommend it. What are you going to score it, Matt?
At 3.5. I think it's a
Yeah.
great little fun flick. So like a 3.5 is good for me.
I think we're pretty much on the same wavelength with this one. I will also go a 3.5 out of 5. All right. We're up to 2020 now. I think this one might be just me because now we're going to review the movie The Sun Never Sets. You didn't see that one, right?
That's you.
All right. So I zeroed in on this one the second that I heard it was going to the festival because it's a Joe Swanberg movie and I am generally obsessed with his work. I find his style of filmmaking to almost feel like a warm hug of a world. Like something about the stories he tells feels so like grounded and real and like they so quickly envelop me. And now this movie is really no different. The South by Southwest synopsis reads, Wendy's life is thrown into chaos when her boyfriend, Jack, who is older and divorced with children, insists they take space to evaluate the relationship. During their break, Wendy unexpectedly runs into her ex, Chuck, forcing the three of them into a confusing and volatile triangle. So in the movie, Wendy is played by Dakota Fanning. The guy she is dating is Jake Johnson, and then the ex who comes back into her life is played by Corey Michael Smith, and the three of them are so good together. So I'm not spoiling anything by explaining this, but the chemistry between Dakota and Jake right out the gate is so good, and it serves the rest of the movie so well because you need to feel the push pull between the two men in her life. You need to see what she is going to gain from both of them in order for this concept to work. And like there are very much points where I am rooting for one over the other, and I'm also just rooting for her to find herself along the way too. So I really appreciated the dynamic between the three of them. I thought the setting was so incredibly effective, like Joe Swanberg's past movies. It's just like this one takes place in Alaska, and it's just incredible to me how he like it literally feels like he plucked me out of like my chair and dropped me into their town in Alaska, and I just lived there with them for 90 minutes. And again, that is what all of his movies feel like, but I don't know. This one like really, really worked for me. Like this one, I'd probably go as far to give a 4 out of 5 to.
I unfortunately did not see it, so I cannot add to that, but I can add to say I love Swanberg. I mean, like Drinking Buddies, Happy Christmas, it's on the list. Like I there's so much Swanberg I love, so I'm confident.
If you like Joe Swanberg movies in general, like truly, I would be absolutely shocked if this one didn't work for you as well.
Got it. That's all I need to hear, honestly.
Is a good one. All right. With that, we are at 2310, and this is one we could talk about together because we have hit Brian.
Ooh, hell yeah.
Do you want me to read the synopsis before we jump in?
I would say run through the synopsis quick.
Oh God, this is a long one.
I mean, you don't have to do the whole synopsis. Like,
here we go.
It's a coming of age movie.
I could do it quickly.
Okay.
It sucks to be Brian. He's smart, funny, and capable, but his mental health issues make it hard for anyone to see it, especially when compared to his effortlessly cool older brother. At school, Brian harbors an unrequited crush on Brooke. She's smart, kind, pretty, and very much his teacher. A disastrous drama club audition leads to yet another one of Brian's trademark public meltdowns. Thus begins Brian's search for his new thing. On paper, he's chosen the worst possible fit, running for class president. With the help from his therapist and the new kid, Justin, Brian launches his high-stakes campaign and sparks a messy, exquisitely awkward journey towards self-acceptance. You want to go first?
I loved it. It's easily one of my favorites of the festival. I mean, like coming of age movies are, quite prevalent. Like we all kind of know how they are structured and how they're going to go through and the awkwardness and the cringe humor. And I think what Brian gets most right is finding like humility and humor in the cringe moments that are never overly like wincy. Like they're so authentic and organic in a way that like you can feel those emotions again that like when you were a kid, like going through the same stuff. But also like it's a great movie about like the outsider and like the pressures we put on ourselves to like be cool and do all these things and put faces on like as we're young, when like our identities are literally like, that's the best thing about us. So all of our like unique abilities and stuff. So like I think the themes are really good. It never hits you over the head in a way with like the obvious, I would say. It's got joke after joke. Like that script is just so tight. And yeah, you know, I mean, like I know some people involved. Like I know Mike Scollins, who wrote it, Late Night with Seth Meyers writer and such. And like it's funny because you could see his monologue jokes like coming out in this movie in a way, like his sense of humor is there. But it was sweet and sentimental in a way that I wasn't expecting. And the ensemble, holy shit. Just everyone in it is great. Like there's no
100% will second that. This was one of my favorite movies of the whole festival.
Yeah.
I am also especially excited for Will Ropp, the director. We had actually met a while back when The Greatest Beer Run Ever played at TIFF. And you know, he's a supporting actor in that ensemble, and the whole supporting cast came, and they were lovely. And like I remembered him, but I didn't necessarily know anything about, you know, directing ambitions or any ambitions behind the scenes, what like for that matter. And I was just so incredibly impressed by like his clarity of vision with something like this, because tying into what you were saying, just, you know, in terms of the movie managed to stay grounded, but also be funny, but never make fun of anyone in this situation. Like, that's not an easy balance to strike. That's a very delicate dance he's doing here. And I thought he did it exceptionally well. I was also thinking about this the entire time. Just, you know, like his eye just felt very right to me. I just clocked that, like, I always saw what I wanted to see at any given moment. And I think that's a really strong thing to be able to see in a feature directorial debut that signals the fact that like someone is just a naturally gifted director. And I will also repeat, this ensemble is excellent.
No one's bad.
I think Ben Wong is one of the most talented actors on the rise. And I think I said something to this effect when we were talking about Sundance reviews, but I have to repeat it. Look at Ben Wong's last year. He had Karate Kid Legends. Then he went on and did, I might be missing things in between, admittedly. Then he did The Long Walk. Then I saw him in Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass. And now I'm seeing him headline Brian. Those are 4 wildly different movies. And in most of those cases, they're movies where, like, if you don't get the style and tone just right, it doesn't work. And he does every single time. I also thought his back and forths with William H. Macy, who plays his therapist.
Oh, it's so good.
Were like utterly impeccable, seamless, pitch perfect timing in those conversations. I also, I loved the actor who played his friend in the movie. I'm going to mispronounce his last name. I feel like, I know he's like a Disney star, so I feel like some of those fans are going to come at me. Joshua Coley?
Sure.
I don't know. I thought he was excellent because his character in particular, I feel like it's hard to make his intentions feel earnest. Like he's not doing what Brian thinks he's doing the whole time, just messing around with him. But I feel like I felt that like warmth and eagerness to embrace Brian the second he appeared on screen. And it just made me want to spend more time with him in that role. And I loved that.
Randall Park and Edie Patterson as Brian's parent. Like
good.
So I do know that they let them go improv wise. Like they just let them like just run with it. And like there's an in joke that because their improv is so good and so much of that stuff stayed in, they like wrote a joke in later just to reference like Randall Park, just how good he is and like where he took that character. So like them alone, like it's all the conventional scenes you've seen in a coming of age story, just done in a way that is it's just good. Like you're watching it and you're just like good.
Yeah. I also thought that their dinner scenes were just like,
that's exactly. I was just thinking of that. Like
perfect.
That's the thing. Yep, you get the family dinner scene, and it's the way they write it and the way that Ben Wong, like especially like deals with his parents and stuff. Yeah. So this is a 4.5 for me. It's perfect.
I'm gonna second that as well. I'm gonna give Brian a 4.5 out of 5 on the Dewey Decimal movie scale. This one really excites me. I cannot wait to see who snatches this one up, and I can't wait to see what Will directs next because that is a filmmaker to keep an eye on.
Oh yeah.
We are at 29:48, and this is when I toss it to you for Hokum.
Hokum. Let me get the official South by, because I don't want to say too much if it doesn't say a certain thing.
Okay.
Hokum. Let's see.
Good thing to double check.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Just in case.
Okay. When novelist Ohm Bauman retreats to a remote inn to scatter his parents' ashes, he is consumed by tales of a witch haunting the honeymoon suite. Disturbing visions and a shocking disappearance forces him to confront dark corners of his past. So if you know Hokum already, you know it's directed by Damien McCarthy, and you know that he's directed Caveat and Oddity, which have become kind of like favorites of the folkloric Irish horror fans out there. And like, I don't like Caveat. I'm one of the few who's not taken by it. I think Oddity is good. I think it is spooky. I think it is all the right things. Hokum is just fucking on another level. It is. This is like, I forget what movie you said before. Like, it could be in your tops of the year already. Like, I am predicting Hokum will be in my top 3 horror of the year. Ooh. And it is ugly stepsister possibilities of retaining number 1 for me. It's good. McCarthy is just precise with his scares. The ambiance is phenomenal. The mood is like just so dreary and dreadful. Adam Scott is playing the novelist who goes to scatter ashes, but like what's not said is like, you know, he's a struggle. Like he's an alcoholic writer who is just in deep grief and depression at all times. And like the way he writes, that comes out in it, but also like it's him reconciling with so much of that inside him. So like you have this just broken man that is then confronting this witch presence in the hotel, and like that's the movie. It's a lot of single room shots, it's a lot of close intimate scares, it's a lot of just doom, gloom, and dread, but the composition McCarthy achieves alone of like horror storytelling, it's like textbook. It's just when you look up horror movie in the fucking dictionary, like it's shots of this movie. So I was stoked on Hokum coming in. I am best of the year for me. Capabilities. Hokum's great.
You just made me even sadder that I didn't get to see this at South by. It comes out soon though, right?
May.
Okay. Wow. May's gonna be a good month for horror. Between if it's May, it's that an obsession.
Because it's neon. Yeah. So yeah, May 1st. May 1st.
Oh, I can't wait. I hope they start screening it soon. What'd you say you're scoring it?
4.5. Easy.
4.5. Very nice. I like that. All right. 32-36. Matt, did you see Sender?
I did. I caught Sender last night.
Well, this is one I'm definitely going to read the synopsis for. I want to know what boundaries I have to play in. And this is also a longish one. Julia was fired 3 weeks ago. She also got sober 3 weeks ago. She's starting over in a suburban rental and doing a lot of online shopping to help make the space her own fast. When packages she didn't order start showing up at her door, a blender, a corkscrew, her signature shade of lipstick, they feel so unnervingly tied to her past that it starts to feel like someone is watching her. The shopping site Smirk denies responsibility, but increasingly paranoid, Julia tumbles down a rabbit hole to find the identity of her anonymous sender. What'd you think?
Did not work for me.
Oh, wow.
Oof, really did not work for me.
I'll just say, and I appreciate this quality in the movie. I'm very open to things like this. I do think this is the kind of movie where it's either going to really work for you or it's not. So why didn't it work for you?
I get what it's going for. I get it's a piece about paranoia. I get it's a piece about, you know, an alcoholic finding something else to focus on to not fall back into old addictions, but it's still being an unhealthy obsession. What I don't get is why they thought they would just be on the periphery of a horror movie and teasing this and having the mask and all these things when it wasn't really going to be explored that well. I don't think there is a good tying together of a lot of the paranoia and like the timelines and what's going on. I think it is a purposely messy movie because that's the world it wants to play in, but in doing so falls into this trap of not being able to clearly communicate the movie you're trying to make. And what comes across is just a mess. So good performance.
Yeah.
But I struggled through this one.
I can understand why one might struggle. There was a point where I could definitely feel myself give way to what I think is the deliberate messiness of the situation.
Again, deliberate.
That main character is in the middle of so much personal turmoil while then being sent these packages that she didn't order that sends her spiraling even further. And I think it would have been a near impossible concept to pull off this way if not for Britt Lauer in that lead role.
She's very good.
She is so magnetic. It feels to me like she could do just about anything on screen and not only hold my attention, but have me leaning in. I also found, without getting too deep into spoiler territory, she strikes up a connection with David Dastmalchian, who plays a smirk delivery person. And like how I described Britt Lauer as a lead in a movie, their chemistry is so instantly captivating. And it's one of those situations where, because what she's going through and the fact that she's so desperate to reach out to somebody for help, seeing him exude warmth towards her and try to help, I couldn't get enough of that particular connection.
I like them. I think that is one of the better aspects of the film. Again, I get where it's coming from, and I just can't help but feel like there are parts of this movie that are like detrimental to it. Again, I go with the mask. I go with what that's teasing. I go with I don't know. I think it sets up a movie.
Are you simply referring to the mask that press was sent in the mail?
No, in the movie.
Oh, I don't know. Someone told me that they got a mask in the mail and they were.
Oh, I did.
Oh,
I did like that.
No, I know it's in the movie, but I think I'm just more so asking, did getting something like that beforehand up the expectation that it would be a bigger part of the actual feature film?
I'm not going to argue that. Possibly. Maybe I would have had a different mindset, but no, the structure of the film is my main problem. So that wouldn't have changed. But yeah, no, I do think there are certain aspects of this movie that it's not going to fulfill what it's teasing, and it doesn't want to, and that's fine. But I just didn't. I don't think it was clear. I don't think the movie itself translates into a clear kind of finale. Yeah. So and again, that's intentional. So people are gonna love this movie for that reason.
Exactly.
For the reasons that others will love it, I was out.
Usually I struggle with that far more. And I do like something to, essentially, give me, not that I don't like to think about movies after the fact, but I do like when things tie together quite nicely at the end. But this is one of those times where I was kind of along for the ride and I was enjoying the spiral. And I almost appreciated the fact that everything didn't come together with a nice, neat, clean little bow on top in the end, because it would have taken away from the movie is surreal, but it's also got a very real and grounded approach to tackling how tethered we are to e-commerce and the things that leaves us susceptible to, yet we still welcome them into our life. I found that me thinking about how I apply that in my own day-to-day and the messiness that creates so well connected to how it is explored in the movie that, I don't know, I personally found that I got the satisfying conclusion I needed without having everything spelled out or the movie telling me, she walks off into the sunset and lives happily ever after.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'm going to go 3.5 out of 5 for Sender. One other thing that I just wanted to emphasize that I didn't highlight, I thought the production design was exceptional. The way that they use her space in the movie, I thought really enhanced the style, tone, vibe, and narrative of the movie.
Yeah, no, I appreciate a lot about it, but I am a hard 2.
Gotcha. I'm gonna do 39.15. This one might just be me. Oh, I put it in the wrong spot. I'm going to drag it down in this description real quick so I don't mess this up. 39.15 is when I'm going to talk about Basic. You didn't see that one, right?
Yeah,
and also because someone asked, I'm just doing time codes as we do the episode because it's easier to keep track, and also that way people can jump around and find reviews with ease, just because we're doing so many of them. And I know in general people appreciate time codes, so in this particular episode it feels especially important. All right, let's talk about Basic. Not Sender, Basic. After Gloria and Nick break up, Gloria takes us through Nick's dating history, untangling his web of ex-girlfriends through details she can find online. But when she discovers Kaylin, the hottest, most basic ex-girlfriend to ever exist, Gloria not only loses herself, she loses control of the story she's been telling. Basic is a comedy that blends the magical realism of jealous paranoia with the magic of falling in love. I'm so happy I read that description, because this movie achieves exactly that. This movie delivers so big on this particular narrative and the idea of the incredible stories we spin just by judging someone based on social media. I thought this was so well executed. The two lead roles here are played by Ashley Park and Leighton Meester, and the two of them are perfectly cast in their own individual roles. And when you watch this movie and see how their narratives intertwine, it just further reinforces the fact that this movie features some A+ casting. Watching the two of them bounce off of each other as the movie progresses is one of its greatest delights. But this feels like a crowd-pleasing romantic comedy that kind of like sneaks in a rather significant amount of timely thematic heft that I really appreciated. And stopping short of going too far with where things land in the end, there's like a respect this script gives these characters as like individuals, as whole people outside of the romance that they're trying to navigate, that I really appreciated. Because oftentimes and, I'd probably echo this with Joe Swanberg's movie too. Whenever I see a movie and part of the movie, or show for the matter, and part of it is a love triangle where you're supposed to be like team A or B, that is often the least interesting thing about a movie to me. And I think that's kind of like the whole point of this movie. And so I really liked this movie for that reason. It's also got a really great list of supporting characters too. And I'm not going to like name everyone here, but in particular, Kaylin, Leighton Meester's character in the movie, has a friend group, and God, it's just one of those friend groups that you really want to spend time with. They're just so supportive of her and each other, and they have so much fun, and you love their vibe, and you fall into step with them so quickly. I also really like Taylor John Smith in the movie. I think I think he is another big reason why that the love triangle aspect of the movie worked really well for me. He plays Nick, the one that Gloria, Ashley Park's character, breaks up with at the beginning, and they don't treat that in a traditional manner, and it forces him to show off some nuance in that type of role in order for where they take that character to land. And I thought he did that really, really well. This was probably one of the best South by Southwest 2026 for me. I think it works exceptionally well. I'm also going to go ahead and give this one a 4.5 out of 5. I can't imagine a better version of this movie right now.
Yeah. I did not see it, so I cannot confirm.
Highly recommend, clearly. 4345 is where we get to Imposters, which I believe you saw, right?
No, I still have to watch it, actually. I have a screener.
God, I'm talking so much right now.
Yeah, that's just me.
This is definitely one. So I'll say right up top, I'm going to keep this one short and sweet, and it's going to sound like I'm dancing around a lot of details, because I am. Literally, this whole damn movie is a spoiler.
The whole movie.
Kind of.
Yeah.
After a couple's baby boy is taken, the desperate mother learns of a way to bring him back. However, her husband begins to suspect that what she returned with isn't their son. So many details in this I want to dig into. This is excuse my language, but this one is like a total mindfuck of a movie. And again, I'll zero in on casting here because this concept does not work unless these two lead roles are perfectly cast with actors who can handle everything that winds up landing on their shoulders. Those lead actors are Jessica Roth, who we love, love, love in this genre, and also Charlie Barnett, who I often think is exceptional. And the two of them, they nail what they have to do here. This is another one that does send your head spinning a little bit, and it really demands that you pay attention and engage. And I do suspect it might be one of those situations where the work it takes to follow along might lose some people. It did not lose me, and it made it feel pretty damn satisfying in the end. And I'll just watch the narrative gymnastics Jessica Roth and Charlie Barnett have to do all day long. I just love seeing the two of them swing for the fences. And there's a couple style choices here that I really want to highlight, but I can't go into in depth on right now because it will ruin the surprise. But this is also one that I would probably recommend, not as strongly as some of the others I've highlighted, but I do think this is a worthwhile trip to go down. I'm going to give this one, I'll go 3.5 out of 5. This is another one where I want to watch it again.
Okay.
Again, no spoilers, but very twisty, turny kind of narrative. And my usual reaction to something like that is like I could really like it on one watch, but I always really feel the itch to watch it again and again and make sure that everything lines up. So I am eager to give this one another go around, but that's where I leave you for now on Imposters. Oh my God, it's you now. 4637 Monitor. Go, Matt.
Crap. I'm going to look up the South by one for this one too. Cause
I get it.
There are some things about this one I want to make sure were said. Monitor, South by Southwest. Come on. All right. Maggie works as a content moderator for ViewQ Moderation Services, spending her days filtering the internet's darkest content driven by guilt over her sister's suicide. Okay, so they do mention that. When Maggie blocks a cryptic video uploaded by an anonymous user, she and her team begin to be hunted by an insidious entity that haunts them through every screen in their lives. I dig this movie. I think it's like good. Like an emphasis on good that I really enjoyed, but there's a little bit of like trying to establish rules for its monster that kind of go willy-nilly towards the end, and you're just in it for, you're in it for the experience. But I don't think that's a bad thing at all, because I think what they actually create here, and like I'm a huge fan of like live like it's not found footage, obviously it's not something like that, but the screen life narrative and seeing monsters on screens only is rad. There is a movie called Butterfly Kisses that I really think is in the same like conversation as Monitor, because what basically they create in Monitor is this like creepypasta-esque demon that starts in its own Ring video and then is just pursuing all the characters, but only on screens. And so like they have fun with where you see this thing, whether it's a car's backup camera or a baby monitor or like a camcorder is easy, like phone is easy, like those are the easy ones. They find screens everywhere to use, and then like in the shadow of a projector, like they start having more fun with that stuff. And I was sold on this. It's kind of like I keep calling it a Nightmare on YouTube Street. Like it's basically a Freddy Krueger-esque kind of can kill you only in its domain, and that's it. But then there's an it follows to it all, because it still happens in real life. So like all the deaths occur with like an invisible entity massacring like people. Oof. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, this sounds like it's gonna be up my alley. What are you gonna score it?
3.5.
3.5.
Again, like there's some narrative things I think are a little wishy-washy at times, but for the horror of it all and for like the fucking unique display of a familiar trope, I think it gets there too.
All right, we're 49:30. I don't know if we're going to align on this one. Did you see Drag?
I did. That was my last movie at the festival.
All right. In that case, let's do a synopsis for Drag. Oh, nope. Never mind. Did not pull that one up for some reason. Give me 1 second. Southwest. And the official synopsis reads: two sisters with a contentious relationship decide to rob a rural home in upstate New York. The simple robbery turns into a nightmare when one of them throws out her back and becomes immobilized on the second floor. The night spirals out of control as they embark on a painful journey to make it out before the homeowner returns. I quite liked this movie. Doesn't sound like it. It doesn't sound like Roger. It doesn't sound like Rogers liked it.
Yeah, literally, he's just like, fuck off, dude.
I read that synopsis initially and obviously saw the title of the movie, and I'm like, sounds like an idea for a short film that's going to be, forgive my term, but dragged out into a feature film length. I don't know about this.
Impossible not to use drag like multiple times in this.
I was just delighted by the twists and turns this movie took, how I never knew what was going to happen next. And I was also just absolutely tickled by how this concept paves the way to a physical performance, two physical performances like I have never seen before. Watching Lucy DeVito drag Lizzie Kaplan around this house, I thought was like one of the funniest things ever.
Yeah, very much like... I like this. I think Lizzie Kaplan is like one of my favorite actors. Like I have been a fan since Cloverfield and Party Down and all that stuff, and everything she's in. Like the way that she is able to sell the physical comedy, because like this is a weirdly funny movie for a long time, and then it's impossibly dark. Then like this is one of those movies that like dances on the razor's edge of being hilarious and also just like punch you in the gut, what the fuck kind of shit. But Lizzie Kaplan's a big reason why this works, because it's not just about someone being dragged around. Like it's her reactions to everything. And like, even though she is immobile, she still has these, like a huge presence. But then there's also the Stamos of it all.
Yeah. There's a Stamos of it all. Before I get to him though, I just will stress, I think one of the coolest acting feats in the movie is essentially seeing what Lizzie Kaplan can do when she's playing a character who is immobilized, because that puts a whole lot on her facial expressions, and she is just giving to the max in that respect. Yeah. And I thought it was something else. I also thought Lucy DeVito was phenomenal. No, she was good.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sorry not to leave her out.
She did a great job, I think, commanding the screen and commanding the space, given the fact that Lizzie Kaplan's character is the one who throws at her back. Like Lucy DeVito is responsible for taking you through the house and also, really contributing to the fear that comes with being in that space without stepping over the line and giving away anything that might be too spoilery here. But I thought she really made the most of that. And I also, it's obviously the synopsis reveals that they don't have the best relationship as sisters, but I thought that the two of them had that necessary chemistry to really make that work, while also still making me believe that like they loved each other enough.
Yeah, no, it was there. And again, Stamos.
Yeah, Stamos.
Stamos. Evil Stamos. Like we've never gotten evil Stamos before.
So much fun in that role.
Although I did laugh because I was like, did drag steal that little undie dance number from Dangerous Animals? Speed for beat. Come on. The underwear, the everything. They wanted their Jack Courtney moment.
I think it's hard to ever see anything like that ever again and not think of Dangerous Animals. But I thought John Stamos had a good deal of fun in that role and to great effect. I think that role demanded that kind quality.
Yeah, no, I know. I just laughed. I was like, we're getting two little weirdos doing underwear dances for murder.
What do you score in this one?
I sit here at a 3.5 because I do think there's as much as it's not a gimmick that runs out. I do think there is. It is stretched a bit still.
I'm actually going to go 4 or 5 because of what you said, that it's a gimmick that does not feel stretched out for me. I was very impressed by how well it sustains its concept from beginning to end. 54-22. Did you see The Saviors?
I did.
Oh, good, good.
I did.
Oh, here's one that I'll probably want to read. Oh, a long synopsis. Sean and Kim are a suburban couple about to divorce. By renting their guest house to a quiet Middle Eastern brother and sister, they find a perfect solution, raise money to fix and sell their house, then separate. But when bizarre occurrences begin to add up, mysterious lights, missing animals, glimpses of unexplainable tech, in the days before the president's upcoming visit to town, their guest's strange behavior starts to seem suspicious and potentially dangerous. As Sean and Kim investigate their new tenants, they rediscover the emotional connection they once shared, but reconciliation may come at a significant cost in this timely and provocative thriller. What do you think, Matt?
I did think about this one. I saved this one to review for like 3 days because I didn't know if I actually liked it or not.
I get it.
I think the messages and themes it is tackling are good. The idea of communication being key, the idea of like the American mindset, immediately like assuming insiders are terrorists and all that shit. Like what it's trying to say, I think is correct. What I don't think works for aspects of it is the way that we see saviors through Deadweiler and Scott's characters, the Americans, basically, the entire time almost. And at the end, we get, let's just call it a reverse perspective. I think the film somehow, like, it is funny, it is satirical, it is not advocating for what is happening, and I get that, but there's still this weird kind of sense of like we're just watching a couple rekindle their love through xenophobia, and like I there's parts of it that I think get like the message and theme gets away from the actual story composition, because I know that's not the story they're trying to tell, but because of the way they tell it, it is. And I wasn't always into that, I guess, to say. Like,
I didn't think about it that way, but when you just articulated that, I very much can understand why.
Yeah.
Right. I'd be curious to rewatch this one with that in mind and see if I make the connection quite that way. But personally, I didn't. I quite liked this movie as a four-hander, especially when
they're good in it. Yes.
Like all four leads are exceptional. And I thought they play together really, really well. Adam Scott, Danielle Deadweiler, Theo Rossi, and Nazanin Boniati. Like I thought they absolutely just crushed those roles and did exactly what they needed to in order to make this concept work. Danielle Deadweiler in particular is someone who is just like she's always thrilled me as an actor, but watching what she's doing as of late while building upon exceptional dramatic performances, it just I don't know, it just like really all adds up to the undeniable truth that she's probably one of the best working actors in this industry right now.
Again, super talented, and I'm ultimately positive on the film because of the performances. Like, and I think Adam Scott, again, like Adam Scott did good this fest, I would say.
He did.
Kind of going against the conventional characters he usually plays. Like, because here he's doing the whole like fucking kind of just deadbeat dude role, and it fits him. Like, you know, he's a sarcastic guy. He's that kind of thing. But like, once again, playing a character that's down and out, and this one like feeling bad for himself. I think Scott has a lot of fun in that role. But yeah, it's just, I don't think the structure's there, and I don't think the movie's as smart as it thinks it is.
Yeah. And I wonder if maybe an even split.
That's exactly what I wanted.
The game.
That's exactly what I said in my review. I think that would actually have changed it for me, and like going back and forth. So you get to see how stupid in real time it all is in a certain way, and like how communication would help. I don't know. I just think having both perspectives versus just the one for most of the movie would have done it better for me.
I get it. I'm going to go 3.5 out of 5 for the Saviors.
A barely there 3.
Okay. All right. 5903. We are moving on to Forbidden Fruits. We did both see that movie.
We did.
5903. That will take me to. Nope. Nope, didn't look up that synopsis. I know that movie really, really well
You've seen it a
at
billion
this
times.
point. It is about a group of women who work at a clothing store in a mall called Free Eden. And by day they sell clothing, and by night they are a coven. And it is digging into the idea of performative sisterhood. And this is another one that I think demands pitch perfect casting, and 1000% got it. Lily Reinhart, Victoria Pedretti, Alexandra Shipp, and Lola Tung are all A+ in their roles and A+ together. I think a lot of the I think the intention of this movie was to hopefully craft something that ultimately becomes iconic in the vein of, let's say, Mean Girls and The Craft. And, it's still fresh on my mind. I'm not going to go on and say, Forbidden Fruits is a movie for the ages, but there's certain line delivery in this movie that does very much confirm to me that part of the reason why it has a chance to go down that path is because, let's say, how Lily Reinhart specifically says a particular line of dialogue, and I think that extends to all of them. I think thematically,
I know what I think in my head.
There's a couple of things, but for Lily, there's one particular thing that's like ingrained in my brain, probably forever. I also think the design of this movie overall is just absolutely phenomenal. The costume design, ooh, like A+. I mean, actually, I feel like I'm kind of making a case for this movie to become iconic, but the costume design in this movie feels to me like it is going to spark the itch to dress up as these characters for Halloween. It's just,
and it's like doable too, because like it's all
so easy.
fashion stuff. Yeah.
And it's stunning. It's the kind of costume work that you can't take your eye off of. And the way that they carry themselves in those costumes, I also think is utter perfection and is part of the reason why you want to dress as them.
I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I like everything there. Like, I agree with what you're saying. I think the costume is really fun. Also, like, Diablo Cody is a producer on this, and like it's very Diablo Cody coded, like the script and everything, like not by her, but very much you feel the DNA running through it. And it is like, here's the thing, like it is just The Craft meets Mean Girls in a mall. Like that's what this is blatantly, and that's not a bad thing, like because it plays right into like what it wants to be, and it says it loud. I think there is a ceiling to some of it. I while it's really nice production value using the mall and all that stuff, and like especially living in Jersey and having malls be like an important part of like being a teenager and just going there, like it's fun having that whole vibe like go through. I think sometimes it is a little too referential heavy, maybe let's call it, like it's one of those scripts that's just throwing wit at you over and over again, and you're just begging for some lines not to work. So that's kind of where I feel about it. But Victoria Pedretti alone, I just adore her. Like she is having so much fun in that role.
What a difficult character to calibrate, and somehow she manages to pull it off in a way that like I feel like all of these characters feel very unique to their actor, but in particular her, that character could have gone a million different ways.
Yeah, exactly. So I again, positive on it. Like I think it's another 3 for me though. Like it's a 3 out of 5.
I'm gonna go 3.5 out of 5 for now on Forbidden Fruits, with the possibility of it going higher. The main criticism I have of it thus far is I think style and energy wise, they really achieved what they set out to do. It's like it's got this infectious quality that I just want more of. Like, I didn't want the movie to end. I didn't want to leave this environment and what was going on between the four of them and then some. The things that I struggled with were more the thematic elements. Like I said at the beginning, it being about performative sisterhood. I found myself having a little bit of a difficult time trying to parse through what it was trying to say about that. And I don't know if particular messages landed in the end. There's also one particular reveal at the end of the movie that I'm like, I found like a little head scratching. But again, that's based on that's based on one watch of the movie. And I do think that if this goes on to have that kind of cult classic feel, I think a lot of those concerns might settle for me to the point where it becomes a movie I want to rewatch over and over and over. So I will start at 3.5 out of 5. And I'm very eager to watch this one again in particular.
Yeah. 3. Stay in there.
Oh boy, 1 hour, 4 minutes, 37 seconds. Over Your Dead Body. That's you.
Oh, do you like do a synopsis here?
Yeah. We might want to keep these last few short and sweet.
Yeah. Over Your Dead Body. Jason Segel, Samara Weaving. They're married. They want to kill each other. They go on vacation. That's the synopsis. That's what it's about. For those who don't know, it is a remake of the film The Trip by Tommy Wirkola, which is on Netflix. And if you didn't know that, I would heavily suggest you do not watch Wirkola's and just watch Over Your Dead Body. Not because I think it's better, but because I did the reverse. I rewatched Wirkola's to kind of be like, set the baseline and see what they do different. And they don't do much different except change the tone. And that's strange to me. I think Over Your Dead Body succeeds because of Segel and Weaving. Like, they are just having so much fun as lovers who no longer have the spark, and to get out of it, they try to kill each other. Like, that's the beginning of the movie. This isn't a spoiler. Like, the beginning of the movie is them finding out that they both have the same plan to kill each other in the middle of the woods and trying to navigate that. And then 3 criminals fall out of the ceiling, and like it goes from there. There is a darkness and a bite and a real thrill to the original that Jorma Taccone like softens for the American version. So like it's kind of like a traditional Americanization where the harshness of the international one is down. And I don't always think the comedy route was the better route for this movie. So it was impossible for me not to have those comparisons. I think without that, I might be like a whole half a star higher on this as a concept alone, because Over Your Dead Body is still very funny and it is very gory, and it's a lot of like unexpectedly gory in parts, but I just couldn't help myself from like seeing the cracks in the changes they made and why they changed them, and kind of being like, well, I would kind of wish I was just watching the original at this point. So
okay, I'm gonna see that one real soon. I'm eager to see it. So that brings us to 106.59, and let's do They Will Kill You, which I know we both saw.
we did.
Zazie Beetz plays a character who enters into a building called the Virgil, and everyone wants to kill her.
They will kill you.
They will kill
that's
you.
The synopsis.
What do you think of this one?
I think it's fun. I think the way I described it in my review is it kind of feels like a stoner's Domino's order where they click every topping just because they think it's funny. It is basically maximalism to the extreme, and it is, for those who think like it's too much like Ready or Not 2, it's not. It is definitely doing its own thing, and the horror elements are really amplified because it's just, there's so much going on though, because it's like you have these obvious correlations to like old school Japanese cinema that has been adopted by like Quentin Tarantino in movies like Kill Bill. You also have like insane effects, like it could be like a Frank Henenlotter movie. It could be Ready or Not 2. It could be like it's The Raid. It's all these things like smashed together, but I don't think the story behind it is all that remarkable, and that's where I struggle. Like it is a lot of really cool scenes that cut one hell of a trailer, but any kind of like staying power beyond what surface value gore and action and all this stuff, like that's where I struggled. It was a fun ride, do not get me wrong, but like at the end of it, I'm kind of like, where a Ready or Not has more to it. I kind of felt like They Will Kill You. Like, I'm enamored by the fact that WB has this under their banner and this is a theatrical release. And like, I am smitten by a lot of the effects and all these things. Like, I have hold on.
Do you have the eyeball?
I have my little eyeball here. Like, the eyeball is very important. Trust me.
Eyeball
I have an eyeball
was
keychain.
my favorite part of this movie. I'm obsessed with the eyeball.
it's gore, it's fun, it's all that stuff. Also, Zazie Beetz kicks ass. Do not get
Yep.
me wrong, but I wanted more from it. And the last thing I'll say is like, it's so ridiculous that it actually became predictable in its ridiculousness. Like,
Yeah.
where a movie that surprised you over and over again, I get it, but this movie, every scene is basically trying to up the ante so much you could eventually predict how it was going to try to do that, and like that kind of counterintuitive, like.
Yeah, I'm pretty much right in line with you on this one. I'm gonna wind up going just positive because I very much enjoyed the ride. This is like one of those bonkers kinds of movies that not only am I sitting here thinking, how is it being released by a major studio, but also how does it exist, period? This is just like one batshit set piece after the next. So I am very charmed by and impressed by it for that reason. But I can't say it all worked super well for me. And while a lot of the set pieces were really inventive and different, I don't necessarily think they were refined enough for me to kind of like consistently have my jaw on the ground. But I think Zazie Beetz like further proves the fact that she is just like a commanding powerhouse, like the ultimate centerpiece for any movie. I think the success of this movie hinges on having someone like her in that central role. Otherwise, you just don't want to go along for the ride. But she very much kept me invested from top to bottom in this one. Again, I loved the eyeball. I loved the eyeball, Matt.
Steals the movie.
So tickled by that every single time something of that nature pops up. I thought the movie had a good supporting cast. You know, maybe I shouldn't really be comparing it, but because you brought up Ready or Not, like one thing that I did catch myself thinking about after is how clearly I remembered every major supporting character in Ready or Not 2. And that wasn't quite the case here, beyond, let's say, me walking away being like, yeah, that happened to Heather Graham. But I didn't really know all that much about like the layers of her character. Like, yes, I know certain things about certain Ready or Not characters that are like, holy shit, that happened to them. But every single one of them had like a little bit of a drive that meant something that I could recall at the end. And that wasn't necessarily the case here. So a wild ride that I very much enjoyed, but also, you know, a little bit of a thin experience.
Yeah. So same. Yeah.
3 out of 5.
I'm somewhere between a 3 and a 3.5. So like a 3.25. Okay.
I'm a 3 out of 5 on this one. Yeah. Do you want to save Ready or Not spoilers for next week?
Yeah, we do not have to.
Yeah. There we go. All
right.
We're
also like, we have to hit a few super chats.
Yes,
and also, like, this is a fun, really quick.
As someone who has never been to a film festival and not part of the film industry, is there a festival you suggest someone go to for their first time? Is it fun for just a casual fan? What say you, Matt?
I mean, I do think something like Fantastic Fest for a casual fan is better. South by Southwest is a little too industry in my opinion, just for a casual to go. So I would say that. I would say Fantastic is a good place to start.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Fantastic also because if you're a first timer, I think Fantastic is one of the stronger communities of any festival. So you will be well taken care of and can turn in any which direction and ask for, I don't know, help or thoughts or just talk about movies. So that's a great place to go. Project Hail Mary was a masterpiece. Much recommend.
I will figure that out soon.
Yeah, high on my priority list. How's it going, guys? Radio Silence is great at weaving a good story. Ready or Not 2, Here I Come was excellent. Have a good one. Hat Bros. Billy, you're the best, man.
You're correct.
Let's get a football update. What's the news, Matt?
I'm trying to think. I mean, like, so much has happened so early, but like, I'm focused on my Texans, and we just keep adding little pieces here and there. We took a Philadelphia defender that I'm really happy about. We finally got our offensive lineman that I'm really happy about. So like, on my Texans front, I'm starting to feel really good about it. But I don't know. Geno Smith going back to reclaim the Jets is. I don't know how to feel about that. I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
I don't know. I got so much Jets clothing. God damn it.
Justin Fields taking over for Patrick Mahomes, of course.
Stop it. Just saw Ready or Not 2. Loved That's My Bitch. So good.
Yep. Good drops. Good drops.
I don't like the people that assume that Ryan Coogler will be back at the Oscars as a nominee. Why?
I don't get that.
I don't get it either.
He's a good director. He could be back.
Yeah,
easily
I
as
think
a
he's
nominee.
definitely gonna. I would be shocked if he wasn't back as a directing nominee again.
Yeah.
And I also wouldn't be shocked if we are eventually calling him Academy Award winning director Ryan Coogler as well. Perri and Matt, did you guys see Obsession at TIFF? Being a very late bloomer to having a relationship, I really felt his desperation in the trailer. Wait until you see the movie.
Yeah, we saw the Fantastic Fest, but yes, oh my god, that trailer is a great little tease.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this one. You guys, believe in the hype with Obsession. I love this movie. Sad I didn't see you both at South by Southwest. Super busy like you guys. Glad you were busy. That's the best part of a film festival, when you've kind of run yourself into the ground trying to do a million things.
Yeah, but that's why I suggested Fantastic Fest for a first timer, because South by is overwhelming, and I feel like I saw half the people I wanted to socially. Yeah. So I like ones that have a little more social ability to them.
I get it. All right, Matt, why don't you plug some stuff?
Donatobomb, DONATOBOMB, and that's on all my socials. So just do that. Just find me. I exist.
Please go over to the Collider Interviews YouTube channel and watch the bajillion South by Southwest interviews I did. And also, tomorrow morning on the Collider Ladies Night YouTube channel is a ladies' night that I'm very excited about, because it is a joint ladies' night. I did one at South by with Catherine Newton and Sarah Michelle Gellar. And yep, they were fucking fantastic. I'm obsessed with the two of them. It's a great episode that I highly recommend, because they brought so much insight to the conversation and their energy is just the best. So go watch that, and we will see you next weekend with a brand new Merri Hour.
That's an insane lineup.
Yeah. Okay. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
It was insane.